Hello and welcome to the 4Corners podcast. I'm Brad, joined as always by Matt and Shad. Gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
Doing okay on the on the verge of another winter front rolling through and destroying my joints.
I
Yeah,
actually apologize, gentlemen, but I forgot to do this before the show. So, sorry, I forgot to open my soda.
Oh, it's okay.
I was like, I don't know if I can open that without it being heard.
It was nice like the last week that it was warmer. But yeah, it's supposed to get cold. Like I'm trying, my wife and I are just trying to make it through with as few or zero if possible snow days so we don't have to deal. And here in the DC area, if we can make it through February, we're pretty safe. Like it can snow and has snowed in March, but it's
So
not as likely. So
the two worst snowfalls in the last 50 years in Ohio have both been in the very end of the very last day of February or the middle of March. So you're not safe here until April, typically.
Oh, it'll still be cold. It has actually changed, the climate change or whatever. It's changed from when I was a kid, or maybe I didn't notice it. But I mean, nowadays I feel like it gets cold here at least by November 1st, and will just be some degree of cold for the month. It used to be by March it starts to warm up, and it kind of does, but it's still going to be cold. Where I can wear a jacket or a sweatshirt or something like that, at least into April probably.
See, the issue is Ohio is such a crapshoot. There are Thanksgivings, and this is as far back as I can remember. There are Thanksgivings where there could be snow on the ground, and there's other Thanksgivings where you could be out in shorts and a t-shirt.
You also have that wildly variable lake effect thing going on.
Yeah, and a good example is 2 Halloweens ago it snowed, and the next year it was warm. So we're having a bit of fun this week. So we're gonna do some predictions for wrestling in 2026. I will say none of us are licensed soothsayers,
prognosticators.
Yeah, but
I'm not even a Hechicero impersonator.
Yeah. So. But we do play one for TV sometimes. So we're just gonna go through. Some of these are gonna be goofy. Some of these I think are kind of based on trends we're seeing.
Okay.
Because I think WWE would be the one I'd start with, and I would say I see their attendance further declining this year. I think Cody wins the title back at WrestleMania, and I feel like I don't think it'll happen this year, but I think we're going to start hearing rumblings at the end of the year that they're really unhappy with Triple H. And maybe rumors or, he's fine, but we think someone else should handle the booking because it's just so much responsibility. Something like that.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Go ahead.
That thing that he said he could do for all of the brands, and then immediately pawned off SmackDown on Road Dogg of all people.
As soon as it wasn't on Fox anymore, and it's not a glamorous job.
Yeah.
Well, if we are talking about the WWE, I will say it's let's see, what day is today? It's the 13th. So the 13th of January. We're 13 days into the year. I think we're on the 8th era of the year already. We have about 576 more eras to go before the end of the year. It's the new era next week. 5 minutes later. All right, the era ended. Now we're in a new era, guys.
It's kind of like how too many people in AEW were saying that it was their house. We've got era after era after era. See, Brad, your prediction lines up with one I had here because, admittedly, no, did not expect for Drew McIntyre to take that belt off of Cody.
No, I don't think.
Okay, that was the very cynical part of me is hey, they didn't want to tour the Rah Rah America babyface in Europe. But yeah, my prediction was he's not going to keep it past Mania if he gets that far.
I'm so cynical about too because he's been jobbed too much. I'm like, well, they just want to get Cody's belt count up.
And his win looked like awful.
I think he didn't even win it. You do a 3 stages of hell match, so it's already like there's tons of like fuckery going on, like gimmicked all to hell, and you still didn't have him just beat Cody clean. Cody lost to like a run-in by Jacob Fatu. I think it's twofold actually. I'm gonna say one, Fed fans, drones won't admit it. The honest ones will. But what has Cody done all year? Who fucking cares?
Like, he got a good
boring as Street Fighter.
I will give him
boring as hell.
I will give him one bit of credit is he did drag a good match out of John Cena at SummerSlam.
Okay, but outside of like him losing the title, which was like, oh my god, shocking, and then boring. He was boring like all year. Like he didn't have really anything to do.
Now,
so it's also like he didn't have a good reign. It's not like, oh no, I'm so sad to see the second Cody reign end. It was boring as hell.
I think the problem
that's number one.
I think the problem with Cody there though is what you're saying is it's a twofold problem with Cody in that he needs to change up. I think he needs to turn heel eventually, but he hasn't changed like the gimmick up much. But the other issue he has and he's had is there's really no one interesting to pair him with. Like that's a big problem.
Yeah,
because I think him versus Jacob Fatu could be interesting, but I don't think they would do that because they only put like 40-plus-year-olds on top. And I think the way Drew won it I didn't like either because they've done such a good job of like protecting that belt for the last 5 years, and I feel like they kind of devalued the belt a bit.
Well, the second thing I was going to say is I think, Cody's reign stunk, but also they're changing it up just to maybe give a little bit of something interesting, because the rumor that I saw like hours ago, well, certainly in the last like day or two, is that they're contemplating it being like Cody versus Drew versus Jacob Fatu in like a 3-way, which is like I don't think a 3-way is going to really work well for Mania. And that's like 2 months down the road, I guess. Which also kind of makes it seem like Drew is the champ, then are you telegraphing that Cody's going to win the Rumble or Elimination Chamber? Like you're already kind of doing that, but regardless,
or are you gonna have Cody win it back at Rumble and then like have someone like
that'd be even worse for look, it's bad enough like they have devalued Drew, but it's like it's bad enough that if you have him win it and lose it like 2 months later, but it's like okay, but having him lose like a month later, a week later, like that's just stupid.
I am convinced. I am 98.8% convinced that Drew winning was a day of decision, and here's why. They're doing their Europe tour right now, right? They just put the belt on Drew McIntyre in Europe, and the damn thing still has Cody's side plates on it. Drew's first entrance in the champion and Cody's side plates are still on the thing.
Do they change those quick?
He comes out.
Do they change those quick?
In the past, it's been like as soon as you got backstage, they unscrew it and put the new ones on there. But Drew's first entrance, he comes out wearing it, and then he takes it off and holds it and wraps it. So it's just the front plate. He looks at it and turns around and holds it. So the side plates aren't visible at all. And it's like, look, but I saw it. The Cody ones are still on there.
Was that Asuka's belt that they screwed up when they made the belt and they made the men's belt again, or there was like a typo on it that got all the way to TV? Was that was a women's belt?
Yeah, it was a women's belt.
Look, they had a years-long Roman Reigns like championship reign. I almost feel like you're playing with fire. I know your fans are pretty locked into anything you do, but I also feel like you're playing with fire if you just start hot-shotting the world title, because people actually did start in the last half 2025, and certainly because of like the Cena storyline, which was not good. Like people started really actually turning on Triple H online. I saw it.
I saw it.
Oh yeah.
I saw
So
it earlier than
they're
that.
kind of already like not feeling good with the booking. I think that people will improve because people always get excited for
Well, I
Mania.
think actually though they were turning on him before that though, because like I was kind of surprised because like there were a lot of people that were like, this build to Mania sucks and this Mania sucks. Like
Yeah.
I was seeing that, like that was because the thing was it was really phoned in last year.
It's the thing is that the audience of anything turning on it is not a quick process. There's always and here's how I here's how I come to that conclusion. From being a University of Kentucky basketball fan, getting rid of a coach unless they just absolutely just stink the entire run like Billy Gillespie did always starts with, okay, we're doing good, we're doing, oh no, he's done good before, we'll turn around, and then over time it gets to be like, okay, until at some point the shoe drops and everybody is like, get rid of this guy or we're gonna start setting fires in the streets or something. It's not a like all this. It's a build, and you'll see a little more until it hits critical mass, and then it's just barreling down the mountain, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Or like the Marvel movies, you'll see people like, well, these movies are kind of bad. It's like, did you miss the last like 7 of them that weren't good? Like,
okay, but did those people see those?
I mean, there's some pretty hardcore like Marvel movie watchers
there are,
that are,
but
I think people just have their individual breaking points too. And I know from personal experience, like I tend to turn on stuff real quick when it gets bad. Like I pick up on it real quick and I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time with this.
Well, yeah, I get that too.
I'm willing to give some stuff like the benefit of the doubt, but it depends. Like the Disney properties I've learned to give less like rope with them. Like I've pretty hardcore turned on Star Wars, and I'm not one of these people like maybe our friend Tim who just I'm gonna rant and rave about Star Wars. I can like laugh at how I feel like it's gotten, but I'm not just like obsessively gonna talk about it. It's just like I just don't have an interest in watching that. And the Disney stuff, I dropped off, to be honest. Like I loved most everything up through Endgame, and then what happened, like the pandemic. So the stuff that came after the pandemic, like Black Widow.
Well, there's all those stuff, TV shows like WandaVision. WandaVision had a lot of, but it had problems, and it did some
problems. But I liked it. I liked it overall.
When Falcon and Winter Soldier was just like no one liked that.
It was like, was it 6 episodes, 8 episodes?
I don't remember.
Every episode was like an hour long, and every episode in an hour-long episode had about 5 to 10 minutes that were interesting or exciting.
Yeah.
And the rest was like boring. And it's like, even the parts that were really interesting, it's not like you're watching Game of Thrones during its prime, where it's like, even an episode that wasn't as like super punchy, like they'd maybe have 10 minutes of really interesting stuff. It would be so crazy that it's like, oh, and now a major character is going to die. You'd be like, whoa. So you'd be like, oh, okay. If there was like 40 minutes of boring stuff, like this 15 minutes was awesome.
It had that weird, modern Hollywood like morality that's sunk into it, because they have this hate boner for John Walker in the MCU. Because it's like, oh no, these terrorists, they have reasons, but John Walker, oh, fuck you. Like, because you made one little mistake.
Yeah, and I hate to be Hollywood, but it's so like the white, the waspy white superhero, like he's the real villain here. I mean, while the multicultural, multi-ethnic, like terrorists, like they have guys, they have a reason, and it's like,
yeah, sure, they killed 300 people in a bombing, but they had reasons. But John Walker, makes one didn't cross in the crosswalk, so he's
even portrayed him as
irredeemable.
like an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, they treat him like an asshole because in the heat of the moment, he like killed one of the terrorists, but the terrorist had just killed like one of his like best friend.
Yeah.
Like his best friend, his partner. Like he just killed him, and so in the heat of the moment, he like killed. And it's like he didn't. It's not like he's just out there committing war crimes, like murdering women and children. He like took vengeance on the guy who just killed like his friend. So it's like, oh, I can't believe he did that. And I get that it's like, well, maybe a guy like maybe someone who's being styled as Captain America can't be involved in extrajudicious executions of people. It's like, oh, okay, like that's, but they were very heavy-handed with some of that. But that overall was a boring show. Loki, I saw season 1, I really liked it, but I can't say, oh my god, this is such an amazing show. I thought it was pretty good, but it's more like because the two leads were Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston, has nailed the Loki character to perfection. So, and their like chemistry was actually pretty fun together. So it's like, I like the show, but those two leads were like really great. I haven't even bothered with a lot of other stuff.
Moon Knight had some interesting concepts to it. I like Hawkeye better than other people because it's based on a series I really like, but I see why people don't like it.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Moon Knight. I did see the revival of Daredevil, which they're saying like season 1, season 2, which I understood like they just did one big season, but they cut it into 2 parts. But we saw the first part, and it was actually pretty good.
I'd like lost interest in that because they have the WWE problem because they used him for like lulls and She-Hulk, which just devalued the character in my opinion.
I never saw that.
Oh,
I don't really have a lot of interest. I don't have an interest.
It's literally the worst piece of shit I've ever seen.
I know a friend of the show, Justin.
Like she was lecturing she was lecturing the Hulk on, oh, don't tell me about anger. It's like, it's the fucking Hulk.
Yeah, this is God. I've just kind of quit on the Marvel stuff. It's like, okay, I got to Endgame, and these are not characters that I was super invested with to start with. It's like, okay, I did Captain America because, okay, I guess I like the Boy Scout characters who want to do.
Cap's not a Boy Scout
because, well,
Cap,
hang on.
You have to get older though. But I love Cap.
You've got Captain Marvel or Shazam, Superman, Captain America. Like, I like these guys who want to be upright and do that sort of stuff. But he's also got his man out of time thing. It's like, okay, you know what? Cool. I can get behind all that. But man, I just don't really care that much about a lot of the other characters. It's like, well, I'm not invested for a lot of them, so I'm not interested in seeing more. And so, what do you want me to do? Is no, well, I'm not really a good example. You got to drag me kicking and screaming to go to the theater in the first place.
Well, like I like the Guardians. They were, but the Guardians are their own thing. Like I like Thor, I like Iron Man, I like Hulk. But the other thing is like the over reliance on CGI because I will fight tooth and nail to say Winter Soldier is the best MCU movie because there was barely any CGI and it was practical effects heavy and it was very 80s action movie in how it handled itself.
Okay,
it probably is. If I guess you could be, if it depends on your mileage, how much you liked Endgame. I liked Endgame a lot, but best probably written, acted, like Winter Soldier's there. It's probably number 1.
And I think that the first Cap movie is underrated in how good it is.
It's good stuff.
Because it's still one of my favorite scenes from the MCU is like Tommy Lee Jones is like, he's too short, he's too skinny. He's like, I want this guy. And then he's like, well, he doesn't have what it takes. And he chucks the fake grenade out there. And that guy runs like a little bitch. And like Steve's just like dives right on top of it. Doesn't even stop to think about it for 2 seconds. And then like Tommy Lee Jones is like, he's still too short. Or he's still too skinny is like his reaction.
Yeah, I like that sequence too. Damn. Thought's getting away from me. Whatever.
The first Iron Man's excellent too.
Goody, you're talking. I think you're rattling off Goody Two Shoes characters.
Like, I am, and here's the thing. It's just that. I guess the best way I could put it is that if I was going to be in the position that someone with that kind of ability was in, I like to think that I would try and behave in a way like that.
Yeah. Actually, Matt, Captain Marvel is very interesting in how he is, because if you don't know, so Junior and Mary Marvel, so he actually gave them their powers, and so to bring them into existence, he actually made himself weaker to give them powers. So
there's the Shazamily in classic continuity has X amount of power, and the more them are active, the less of a share you get.
Yeah.
So
as an aside, like the thing I find fascinating is that comparatively in the DC universe, they did kind of like conceptually did something interesting with him, because they limit him in the sense that he's tied to this young man, a boy or a young man, depending upon where you are in the timeline, whatever. But he's arguably one of the absolute top, most powerful characters.
Well, he's like the worst matchup for Superman because he's magic based.
Yeah. But he's also like obscenely powerful. He's right there with Superman in terms of like raw power. Like it's. I do like that. I find. See, that's getting into me where it's like you're kind of subverting tropes, because it's like you have this godlike being, but he's really humble and everything, because he's at the end of it, he's controlled by a kid. He is a kid.
Well, he is biblical, because he literally possesses the wisdom of Solomon.
Yeah,
it's like but it's actually funny. Like, so if you've ever read the original one, like once the wizard on the rock gives him his powers, like a rock falls on him and kills him.
Yeah.
Just squishes him like a bug.
Yeah, he passes the power on, and the stone drops, and the wizard's a ghost.
Yeah. Also,
anyway,
the Golden Age books have the most racist caricature I've ever seen. Like, so bad that they even drew protests in the 40s for how racially insensitive it was.
Yeah, that was bad.
Steamboat, I think his name is. Like, look up pictures. It's really terrible. Like, it's the most.
No, we're just gonna leave that one be.
It's an interesting tidbit, and I want to say DC was full of shit. He was not a ripoff of Superman. They just did that because they couldn't compete in the marketplace with a better book.
Well, and Fawcett was broke and couldn't really fight it very well. Anyway, back to predictions.
So I think
what I did is I split mine between serious and non-serious. So I have a non-serious prediction for this year, because we kind of already we did one of mine, which wasn't a great prediction, but heck, I wanted one of them to be right. Here's a non-serious prediction, and I'm not fully on board. I'm just like, nah, this probably happened. I think it's possible sometime this year we will finally see the breakdown in a full-blown WWE CM Punk hissy fit. But
well, he just got hurt, so I could see that.
Did he really?
Yeah, he that terrible match he had with Braun. I think they found the spot, but he concussed himself on a Frankensteiner, I think.
Oh, I thought that was
Punk or Braun.
Punk did.
Oh, I thought that was refuted.
Yeah, I thought I saw like, oh, he's not. Well, I mean, you can't trust spin nowadays. Like,
that's true, but
no, because remember when Julia was hurt and people oh no, she's not hurt. They're just giving her time off because she's hurt. I'm like, okay, guys, whatever.
This is the only time I've ever seen it happen, is that I saw Lance Storm do a breakdown on why something was done wrong, and he did a breakdown on that top rope Rana from that match. Like, Braun jumps up there to do that, and Lance Storm was like, well, either Punk forgot or he didn't want to take it because his feet are on the outside of the ropes, not the inside. And you don't do that for a runner from the outside because you're going to hook your feet and land on your head.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Lance is cooking a little bit.
You know who's become an underrated person I actually will watch Figure 4 Observer radio shows for is Tom Lawler is really fun to listen to.
Yeah, it's fun.
Because I don't remember what it was, but he made Brian put it was a short. He made Brian put the Raven "What a Mark" thing at the end of it, or something recent. But
now, the other thing I got to say is that watching Alvarez get tuned up over NXT has also been fun.
Oh, that's why I love him, because Lawler just rubs it in. Like, he takes so much joy in torturing him. It's hilarious.
That's I'm kind of cynical. Like, that's the only time I find Brian kind of tolerable now is when he's shitting on a WWE product as he does in NXT, because otherwise he's like he's kind of like very sympathetic to the WWE because they do what he likes, and that they put just a lot of video packages and clips and recaps and things like that, because the man watches this shit on like fast forward most of the time. Like, he doesn't really actually want to be watching wrestling. Well, that's why he always complains about AEW, like AEW should explain this, and it's like, well, Brian, they actually just did like a segment ago. That must have been when you were fast forwarding. So
well, I think it also, for someone like him, it makes his job easier because he watches so much, so he doesn't have to like remember as much. But yeah, I do enjoy him with Lawler, because Lawler, like, he and Lawler have like a good rapport with each other, and Lawler like really does the podcasting thing well, I think.
Yeah. Do we have as predictions? Do we have predictions for Mania main events? Because I actually, and the whole like Cody losing the title thing, I did see, like I said, they're contemplating doing a three-way. But I also read an interesting thing where it's like, oh, the plan was for Cody versus Roman, but that was dropped when Cody lost the title. And it was interesting because people were speculating, and it's like, there could be something there that, Cody and Roman, they didn't want to do. Neither one of them didn't want to did the main event, because like neither one of them wants to actually, job to the other one.
I think personally why they dropped it is they teased it and it went over like a wet fart.
I would be shocked at that company hearing the fans dumping on something and then changing direction, because
I mean, Triple H, as much as he claims like, oh, we're not reactionary to what the internet says, like, you're highly reactionary to what the internet.
They're very reactionary.
Like, the second anyone says anything bad about you, the booking starts immediately changing. So I could see like the second people were like, what? Why are we doing this again? For him being like, oh no, change it.
Since we just mentioned him, Brian Alvarez pointed this out, because I guess on NXT, because again, he loves shooting on NXT. Like, in the last like couple weeks, on one of the NXT shows, Thea Hale had won the title of Blake Monroe, accidentally, and then I think she lost the title already back.
Like Izzy Dame or whatever. Someone terrible.
Yeah. But she came out there and cut a promo, because I guess I think the issue was like, oh, she got hurt in kayfabe. And it's like, well, you got hurt, like you shouldn't go out to defend the title. And she made a comment like, well, I got to defend the title like to solve all the controversy from me winning. And Brian Alvarez brought a great point. It's like the controversy of her winning is entirely online.
Yeah,
it's meta. It's entirely online, because if you were just watch NXT, that's all you did. You didn't look at the internet. You just watched from show to show. So you saw NXT this week, tuned everything out until next week. You watched it again. Like, you would see Thea Hale like winning, and it's like, oh my god, what a surprise win! Like, you would know nothing. So
yeah,
I think the wrestlers
everyone being like, oh, really controversial. Oh man, they fucked up putting the title on her.
I think the wrestlers are terminally online too, so I could see that have been like.
They are, but that's a promo like they like allowed her to do, and it's like they probably wrote it for her. If you know anything about Thea Hale, she doesn't strike me as particularly bright young lady to be cutting these like fantastic or writing these fantastic promos. Yeah. So that's like they're terminally online. Like, oh, the controversy. It's like, the controversy is only online. Like, so you bringing it up, it's like you're acknowledging the stuff that's only existing in the small microcosm of wrestling social media. Like, no one would have cared. So it's weird. And Brian Alvarez is right to call them out on it. It's like you claim like you're not bothered by this. You're entirely bothered by this because otherwise why even mention it?
Don't tell people I was bothered. I'm not. But
that's a bad. It's
a drill. It's a drill tweet. I'm not mad.
Yeah.
Please don't put in the papers that I'm mad.
Yeah. Look. Here's the thing. You know full well they wrote that and handed it to her, because they do that to damn near everybody. And I'm not. Here the best evidence I have for it is I watched the interview that Stone Cold did with Chris Van Vliet. And when Stone Cold came back to do that thing with Steve Austin, they handed him a script.
You mean Kevin Owens?
He was doing an interaction with Vince, and they handed Steve Austin a script. And Steve just kept screwing with it because he's like, I don't want to do this. And Vince kept getting mad at him. And it's like you handed Stone Cold, Steve Austin, a script.
I think something happened like that with Rock and Hurricane, where they didn't want them to do it the way they ended up doing it, and Rock intentionally fucked it up so much they had to do it live.
Yeah, that's 100%. They wanted to pre-tape it, and The Rock kept screwing it up. And Helms was like, what in the heck's going on? And The Rock turned and caught his eye and gave him a wink, because he's like, no. We're going to do it this way, because they're not going to tell me no. And so that's what they did. It's like, so there's no way that they didn't hand a script to Thea Hale to say that.
Yeah.
Did they need to? No. If you're going to cut a promo, say, I need to go out there and defend it and prove that this wasn't a fluke or a one-off, that's an easy promo. This wasn't just a one-time thing. I got to prove that I'm worthy of holding this. Okay, cool. Easy promo. Do that. Is that what they did? Nah.
I was talking about that on a different Discord, Matt and I are on, how all of the greatest promos that you can think of are all under 5 minutes, and most of them are probably under 3 minutes. They aren't.
No, they're not long.
Yeah.
Okay, here, we'll run down an example. Run down some examples on memorable promos. Hard Times.
2 minutes and 59 seconds.
Yeah, something like that.
Piper cracking Snuka with the coconut is like a less than 5 minute segment. Ric Flair losing his shit is usually under a couple of minutes. It might have been longer, but the one where he's like came back to WCW and he was like elbow dropping his jacket was probably a little longer.
Yeah, and what happened? The flip side to it works too, because it's not just the WWE Reign of Terror stuff. Is what would happen is whenever they would be having Nitro, and Hogan would come out for his top of the hour promo segment, people would be flipping the channel. People weren't staying and watching it because it's just like, oh.
Even those are short compared to like what WWE does now, though.
Yeah, that's true. It was like a 10-minute segment.
Because I used to think those were long, and then I came back and watched some of those like a couple years ago after that WWE had been doing that for like 15 years, and I'm like, wow, these are a lot more brisk than I remember. Because, it's like, back then a 10-minute promo was long, but now it's like, oh, well, that wasn't 30 minutes. That was pretty reasonable.
Oh, my God. The Triple H masturbatory 30-minute opening promos on a 2-hour Raw.
I know, and he was
people wonder why I hate his guts. It's like, yeah, you want to get that right there.
His promos are so bad, too. Brevity.
Other predictions.
Like I said, I'm going to stick with I think Triple H is not going to get fired because there's some saving face in there. I do think we're going to hear some weaseling about how he's less involved in creative, because it's just too much when they're really doing that because he's failing. I kind of think that's already in the process of happening because he dumped SmackDown onto Road Dogg.
Whoever got the idea that Road Dogg was a brilliant mind? in the business.
Yeah, I don't. And they have better choices on staff too. Because I know people don't like him, but like anytime Michael Hayes has had the book, it's been far better than like a lot of stuff they've put out.
Wow.
I saw something interesting a couple days ago that said that I've not watched WWE in real. I have no interest in watching it, but I guess he comes off very poorly on that, which he does like a lot of times if you see him, and it's almost like, Michael, are you just playing a character? Because allegedly, when he's just being like normal guy, like behind the scenes, he comes off a lot better, and he actually has a lot of like really good ideas.
Okay. Are we talking?
So yeah, like I fully buy into what you said, that like as a booker, like he's actually a lot better, well, certainly than like Road Dogg. He has like good booking ideas or good.
Well, he has a better
ideas for segments, or yeah,
and he has a better foundation for who he is around and stuff, though.
Yeah.
So, I would say not like other predictions for the year. I think this is a less serious one. I think we won't see a Mania on American soil for a couple of years.
Or, there's 27, I think, is in Saudi.
Yes, because this one I think is back in Vegas, right?
Well, and then the Royal Rumble. I mean, they don't even have the stadium done for the Royal Rumble. They've, because they're just using slave labor for that.
Yeah.
But
just as a practical matter,
yeah.
If I was supposed to go to a show,
yeah,
like a stadium show that's thousands of seats in theory, and it hasn't been built yet, and it's like the show it's supposed to be like in a couple weeks, even if it was like it's 6 months from now and it's still being built, I'd be like, I don't know how structurally sound. I don't know if I want to go and be in like the nosebleed sections of a stadium that just got built.
FIFA and the
Olympics, like Saudi Arabia, like 2 weeks before. I'd be like,
Well, that's how all the Olympic stadiums are, and
I was gonna
those
say
always
FIFA
go
too.
Super well.
I know. I mean, the Olympic Committee and FIFA love slave labor building their stuff.
Remember the Sochi Winter Olympics, and there wasn't actually a good road to get there from anywhere.
God, yes.
And Bob Costas is on the TV with pink eye staring into the camera because I don't know why.
Because the Rumble's in what, like a week or two? I don't know.
Okay, all right. Let's go to some other predictions.
Mania weekend will be a total dud like it was last year. This year again.
Well, okay. So the reason I was like, do you guys predict the Mania main event?
Oh, I forgot you asked that.
If it's not going to be Cody versus Roman, I've actually wondered if they're going to do something like Roman versus Punk.
I kind of think they're going to run Braun and Punk in some form
again.
Well, but I mean,
that was the rumor.
Yeah,
and you could have Brock win the Rumble or the Elimination Chamber, and you could have that. But that, to me,
I will say,
a night one main event.
I will say, jobbing Braun the way they did in that match was stupid. It was just straight up stupid. Like, I don't watch the product and everything, but it's like the match seemed okay-ish, but it's like, you should have shot your shot. Like, I don't care. Like, you should, because people are like, oh, well, this is good. He's not ready. It's like, no, you gotta shoot your shot sometimes.
You gotta take the chance and roll the dice sometimes. And okay, the thing that gets me about this is you now have definitively told everybody that Braun, who's being presented as the heel, as this like overpowering young strong guy, can't do it
against like an old guy with no athletic talent. This young buck that in like anything real would eat him alive and spit him out in like a different venue.
Well, guys, he needs another like 15, 20 years of seasoning until he's 40
And,
plus.
oh,
Then we can talk.
And he's
The
just
end
too
on that
over.
match. The end of that match, it looked like shit.
Yeah.
It looks awful.
And that was
hits
the
the ropes.
softest ass. That was the softest ass go to sleep I've ever seen.
Oh, we couldn't tell because they did a camera cut right at the point of impact
because it was so bad.
So here comes Braun off the ropes, and Punk just barely gets a knee up, and you can tell that Braun didn't make a lot of impact with it because Punk is on one leg, and just if he moves much, he wavers a little bit. Maybe my memory's bad. Because,
no, it was bad. It was bad.
I'm a hater, but
it reminded me of
one knee up and then into a sloppy-looking GTS where Braun's basically landing on his feet.
It reminded me of
clean pin.
It reminded me of what Braun had to do for that. Reminded me of when Adam Page had to like absolutely kill himself to try and salvage Punk's like terrible buckshot lariat. It reminded me of that.
Yeah, it's to do that, to take this guy that you're presenting as ascending to the main event and then beat him clean. You have now set yourself back a lot. Oh, but it's a story for him. Then why did you do that match? Why?
Yeah.
Well, because it's WWE and they redo the same match over and over and over again. Then who cares? Who's excited? Because we've already seen it. We've seen the outcome for it. We've seen a clean win on it.
I'll say night 2 is going to be some form of Cody and Drew, and I could see Jacob Fatu being involved. But I don't know. They might pussy out on a 3-way because that's a little weird. But I think they set that up so Cody could win it back at well, I think they did 2 things. I think they did it to come out of the holiday season to try and like jumpstart some interest in the product because things have been kind of low key, and I think it's to give Cody a Mania win. And then I will say I'm going to stick with, I think night 2 is going to be Punk and Braun, but I could see them changing that to something boring.
Night 2 is going to be them?
Night 1 is going to be them. Night 2 is going to be Cody and Drew.
That's a night 1 main event.
Yeah.
The reason I said, because if they did Punk versus Roman, I would pause, because it's like, as much as I love that Punk has never actually seen a real Mania main event, and I mentioned that recently, people got so pissy, and it's like, guys, I'm sorry, the last match of Mania,
yes,
is actually the main event,
and that
Mania could be 100 nights, and yes, nights 1 through 99. The last match is the main event of that night.
Yeah.
But it's not the main event of Mania. The last match of Mania is the main event of Mania. And that's true for any like multi-one. And because I talked about Wrestle Kingdom, New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, like the last match on Wrestle Kingdom is the main event.
Well, and Wrestle Kingdom did it wrong a lot because Wrestle Kingdom, and I think this is a big mess up, and I criticize them a lot for it. And Shad, like, tell me if this would upset you. So they when they were doing Wrestle Kingdom is like the 2-night thing, they would often have the hyped IWGP match on night 1.
Night 1.
And then it's like, well, then what the hell is the point of night 2?
Well,
and then night 2 was a letdown because the big match was done.
On one hand, I'm going to play devil's advocate. On one hand, you want people to watch night 1, so you put it on there. On the other hand, what is the impetus for watching night 2 then?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to... So, what I would say is that if you're going to do this, you need to find a way to have the night 1 main feed into the night 2 main.
I would do...
So that there is you have a reason to watch night 1 that feeds into night 2 and builds.
And I would do, exactly what I do is it's a WCW angle they did in 1998 when Rick Martel, Booker T, and Saturn were having issues over the TV title. And they did the pay-per-view where it was like, okay, Booker T, you're wrestling Rick Martel, but then you have to come back out later in the night and then the winner has to come back out and then defend it against Saturn. And that's what I would do is like, okay, night 1 is these two guys. The winner has to go into night 2 and defend against the other guy.
Look, here, even an NWWE example. Bryan Danielson defeats Randy Orton and Batista night 1 to go on for the title match in night 2. Like, you just set it that way is what I would say. And however it needs to be, do it so that there's a continuity of build. There is what happens on night 1 matters to night 2, so you want to see both of them.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be building to a crescendo, which incidentally is why your biggest show of the year should I'm not even going to say typically, it should end with a babyface win. Because you want to have this big crescendo, because if you have a heel win, then it's a big wet fart and it lets all the air out of the building. I don't care how much heat it is, you're showing contempt for your audience doing that, and they're going to get pissed and not want to see more.
And the assumption, I think the assumption that people are going to watch both nights is also like damaging to the concept. I don't think 2-night events work. If AEW said this year, hey, we're going to make All In a 2-night event, I'd be like, fuck no, guys. Like, don't do that. You're screwing it up.
The answer I would do to that is to say, I'll have it on, but I'm not, I'm not going to be paying the same kind of attention I was at All In.
It's too much.
Yeah.
I wish AEW would stick to because they kind of haven't done that for the last couple, and I think it's been a mistake. And I'll say, and I would hope this is a prediction I can make for AEW that would be true, but I don't think it was, is AEW should stick to the afternoon pay-per-view. The Saturday afternoon pay-per-views.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think that it is a better move. I think it's a better fit. And I think that for the most part, you're going to have less competition than like Sunday Night Football or something like that. Or Saturday afternoon, you're going to be dealing with, I don't know, one of 152 NBA games, maybe some college stuff.
Well, college football, but you could avoid, like,
I mean, you're not going to avoid all college football all the time while it's in season.
If you start at 1, though, the big games aren't until night anymore anyway.
Yeah. And also, here's the thing. What else happens on that? If you do it on Saturday, and this is cynical, but if you do it on Saturday, and there's nothing that happens in wrestling, nothing big happens in wrestling until Raw on Monday, then you've got pretty much those whole days of people stewing on and talking about it instead of it getting forgotten very quickly in the next rollover. And so I think that there is a lot of reason to keep it there. Selfishly being, I like it better there.
Yeah. And you've already seen it a bit, but I think this will remain true. I think WWE is going to quietly stop trying to compete head to head with AEW because they got embarrassed every time. I think they're just going to quietly stop because they already did.
It just didn't work, and it's because there's not really that much crossover. I'm sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
There isn't, but I also that kind of ties into what we talked about before. Like, I actually don't think that a lot of those ESPN pay-per-views, premium live events, whatever, I don't think they have actually done as well as I think the rumor that ESPN was not happy about them is actually probably true.
Well, ESPN has a lot of
how much money they're actually paying.
ESPN has a lot of blame there, though, because because they didn't even have clearance for them on a lot of stuff. So, like, I hate to defend WWE, but on that first one, it's like, well, guys, like, you didn't do your part of it, so you can't be mad at them because you suck.
See, but that is also the problem. It's like the first impression is sometimes the impression that sticks. So if you're a WWE fan and it's like, I want to see the show, and then you go and it won't work for you, you're gonna be like, screw this, and are you gonna be like, well, 3 months later it works now, great? It's like, no, you're just not gonna bother. especially if you're going to have to pay more. That's the problem. It's like, oh, pay more than what you've been paying. Pay $30 versus 10.
Yeah,
and it doesn't work. I'd be like, I don't need this.
Well,
I'm just willing to pay more.
And the thing is, though, people say that, but they're doing it wrong because it used to be $10 plus your cable subscription, which you already had, but now it is that $30, but it's whatever you're paying Netflix too.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there a class action lawsuit against ESPN over that because of the misrepresentation of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, but that stuff, there's always
about that. I think something got filed, but
people always hype those up, and it's like nothing usually ever happens because I don't know.
I'm just
I think
in any event.
And also the thing with ESPN is that Disney package with ESPN Plus is like the most overcomplicated thing to do because like if I wanted that package to watch their pay-per-views, which I don't, but like I'm on a legacy plan with Disney, so I only pay like half of what it's supposed to cost. So for me to like watch these shows, I would have to cancel my legacy plan and then pay for the same thing I already have but double.
Yeah. Well, they want you off that legacy plan.
Yeah, they ain't getting
which is incidentally why I won't be.
Yeah, which you ain't getting at Disney. Kiss my ass.
They can't make you be off the legacy plan.
Yeah.
They can only say that once you leave it, you can't come back to it.
Yeah, and
so
and you will have to pry that legacy price out of my cold dead hands, Disney.
If I could have one more point about the AEW afternoon pay-per-views, that would also kind of, I feel, deflect some of the criticism that people give, where it's like, these pay-per-views are too long. And it's like, I mean, you're getting like a lot of content for like the price you pay. So I feel like in that situation, why are you complaining about like a 5-hour pay-per-view if you're really, you're paying $50 for the pay-per-view? That 5 hours, like, you're getting more value for it. But I also am sympathetic to the fact that if the pay-per-view is starting at like 7 p.m. on a Sunday, and people got work the next day, then you don't want to be like, it's midnight. It's like, can y'all wrap this up?
And here comes the main event.
Yeah. But if you started the show at like 2 p.m. on a Saturday, so, it's ending like 7, you've been watching the pay-per-view in the afternoon. It's like you killed your afternoon that way. It was great. And now here it is, like the evening. It's like, like
I can go to the bar.
I can just chill, go to the bar, chill, just like chill, like
Yeah, it's like,
I could go to bed early.
Well, it's like,
or if you were watching it with friends, that's the biggest thing. Like back in the day, like I remember years past, like for his birthday, we would go up to see friend of the show, Christy Petrillo, and we time it around like. They'd have a WWE pay-per-view with the December WWE pay-per-view, so we'd always like watch it that Sunday. It'd be like a group of people that show up and watch it, and it's like back in the day, like like you get together with friends sometimes, or you go to a bar that was showing like a pay-per-view, and they would you could just watch it at a bar, watch it with friends, whatever like that. It's like a community thing, so you could do that too. Like you have an afternoon pay-per-view, it's like invite some of your buddies over.
Or it's like,
or they invite you over, like something like you watch the show together, and then it's like, well, now it's 7. I can just go home and like spend the rest of my evening.
Or it's like, hey, we could go to the bar and watch like the night college game, like the UFC cards just starting. Like, it's also, hey, it's Saturday, so like I can do my shopping tomorrow and I can do my laundry. I didn't have to build my whole like day of like getting my week ready around like a 5-hour show.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just think it's like. It's also like, oh, hey, I can go get like lunch and rewind stuff because I have like, or get dinner and then, just rewind it and not get spoiled because, hey, I don't have to be in bed as soon as this is over. So I can kind of like be a little more relaxed with watching it.
Yeah. I can catch up and that sort of stuff.
Which I know people don't do that. I think the problem people bitching it's too long that don't do that too because they have to live tweet shit now too, which I think ruins everything.
One of the reasons that I really like watching it live is because I'm usually involved in one group chat or another with people, so it's a group activity kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna make an AEW one, which I don't like making because it's gonna upset me greatly. But we are gonna get subjected to a very long MJF reign, so he can lose to Will Ospreay at All In.
I had one about it, and it was just the MJF run will not perform super well.
No, I agree with that. I think sadly, I think AEW is gonna see a back step in perception and business again this year because of this mistake, and they're
I
gonna have to do
agree.
some rehab again.
I don't think that they will. I think that there's like a 1% chance that they will. But if I was Tony Khan, like I would shock the world and I'd have Bandito win the title tomorrow when he faces MJF. And just you kick the tires on that and see. And if it doesn't work as well, then you could have Bandito drop it
Yeah.
a month or two. Back to MJF if you want to even do it. But I am with you. I think that you're probably going to get a long MJF reign with the idea that Ospreay will be back and that he can challenge for the title at Wembley and over the summer and win. But the problem with that is like Ospreay had like neck surgery, right? And I don't know what type of neck surgery because obviously there's many different types of surgery you can do. I don't know if it's like a neck fusion or what it was. I don't know the extent. Obviously, it was severe enough that they did surgery, or he was convinced to do surgery. You do surgery for different reasons. One, you do surgery if you absolutely need to do it in the sense that you have like something that Edge went through back in the day, that you have significant stenosis, which is when the spinal canal starts narrowing, which is obviously very dangerous because the more it narrows, the less like space and buffers you have there with your spinal cord. So if you damage it further, like you could literally have a spinal cord injury and could paralyze yourself or die in the most severe cases. But it's bad. It very bad.
Or you could have there are worse issues like nerves could start getting pinched and like you could lose control of your bowels and like lose feeling in your feet.
It's not worse, but it is bad because stenosis is very bad. Like being paralyzed is as bad as you can get outside of death. Yes, like that's really the other reason to do it is that if it's as they call like impinging upon a nerve, which potentially I imagine could have been what was happening with him. Because maybe he had just something like a laminectomy. He didn't have like a fusion or something as severe, but they needed to do that because parts of the spinal cord were pressing upon his parts of the spine were pressing. The cervical vertebrae was pressing upon his spinal cord.
Yeah.
And I imagine that it probably was because he could have had neck pain, but you also develop issues like numbness.
Yeah, I had a family member. They thought he was getting neuropathy in his feet, and they were doing more research. Like, oh, like we can fix this because part of your one of your discs is just kind of rubbing the wrong place, and that's making your feet go numb.
Yeah,
and generally. Oh, go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could see this very easily being Ospreay's doing fine. He goes in, he has a match. People like it. It's a good match. And then in the aftermath, he's like, oh my God, I'm hurt so bad. Like my nerves are lit up and like my hand is like getting numb. And it's the aftermath of each one. And why did he wait so long to do something about it is because it finally got to the point where he couldn't get over it post-match.
Yeah.
Comfortably.
I mean, if he was having just in general, you're having issues with like neuropathy or numbness, that alone would be like, you got something going on. You certainly should not continue doing the job that you are doing where you're, lifting people, you're doing flips and stuff like that. It's like, you should not deal with that. And there could have also been pain. I'm sure there was probably a pain issue as well. You don't, generally speaking though, you don't want to have surgery unless you can, because surgery is very fraught. Like they may have to redo it after time.
And from what they told my family member is, and I've heard it other places, especially with your back stuff, is it starts to cascade and other parts of your back start to fail quicker because if they intervene in like your structure. So like if they start fusing stuff, it starts making other parts break down quicker.
I'm sure that there is a particular way to do it properly, but I don't know, man. It's.
I think
I do not want Ospreay to push his return because of what that could.
I think he just got cleared to train, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, like light workouts, but it's also like, didn't he have the surgery like in the fall? Like,
yeah, but that I know from other stuff, like a lot of that stuff, they get you back moving around and doing stuff like pretty quick now because they want you to like start building muscle and stuff back up. So it doesn't shock me he would be back quick, especially. And the other thing is too, we have to remember with a lot of the AEW talent is they are going to like NFL doctors, so they are going to like elite level doctors and getting like elite level like NFL surgery. So they're getting the newest and fanciest like technology used on them.
Well, and Will Ospreay is certainly in a different predicament than others. Like he's a potentially franchise player. Like he's young still. Is he like 30, 31? He's still pretty young. Like you can have many more years of him. But I'm with you, Shad. It's like everyone's kind of predicting. I would agree. I think that's what it's looking like. They're going to do that. I'm like, can he come back that quickly? Like, he should not rush it. When you're dealing with a spinal surgery of any sort, don't rush that. Okay, no. This isn't even like, oh man, broke my finger. It's like, okay, that sucks, but come back.
I'm good.
Yeah, tape it up. Even like Swerve, like he had like knee stuff, and he was out for a while when I think he was. But I don't know how bad it was. I guess you never really know. But it was reported that it was like he had a meniscus injury that he finally got repaired. But he was like, "Oh yeah, I was wrestling on this for like a year." So it's like
for a long time.
You're just hobbling through in this and doing great in-ring stuff with it busted, and he was out for a while. But I feel like that was probably like, well, you could come back more quickly.
Knee's different,
take some time and just make sure you're.
Because you can kind of work around like your knee being sore and stuff to a degree. Like I would, like, but your neck and stuff, just there's so much higher.
You don't want to mess with your spine.
There's so much higher stakes in that area than your knee. Because your knee is like, well, I kind of fucked it up a bit, but it's just like, okay, well, I guess I've either got to rehab more or I have to get surgery again. But like, oh, they can fix that. Like that, like your knee's kind of.
The people like Muda or even Dustin Rhodes, their knees got so bad that it's like it's bone on bone. So it's like that point, you gotta they just got to go the knee replacement route.
Yeah.
Because you have nothing to work with.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I get what you're saying. Like, and I just in general, like spinal cord, you can't mess around with that, especially like the style that he works. The fact that he's even going to come back this year, I assume it was probably more of like the laminectomy, where it's like he had stuff maybe pressing, bone spurs, or whatever, pressing on his spine, and they could go in there and clean it up. Versus like we had to fuse like 4 vertebrae in your neck together, which would be bad. I mean, I think, what did the Blade go through? I think he had like a spinal fusion, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was something.
I don't think it was cervical. Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know, but he's like done, isn't he?
No, he had a return match. He it was on an indie, but he had a return match recently.
Because some of those guys,
you know what?
Some of those guys I know like will work and like do the comeback match just to say they couldn't, just be like, no, I can't do this anymore.
Well, we're gonna
go back to feeling called out here, Brad. Leave me alone.
No, you're doing you're doing it for very specific reasons that we won't get into. That I would also.
Yeah.
And I will say you need to keep me updated because I'm coming, whether you like it or not.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Because I will take time off so I have the extra long weekend to like find a place to stay down there. But I plan to come.
I'll let you know. I will let you know.
I will say I think AEW. I think the pay-per-view buys will be fine this year and will go up a little bit. But I do think they're going to have a little bit of a downswing in business if they stick. Well, and I agree with you. I don't know if Will Ospreay can come back. I think they're going to operate on the assumption that he is, which I think is a bad idea. So I think we are going to get another long MJF reign, and that their business is going to suffer a little bit for it again. And we're going to be sitting here. The three of us are going to be sitting here in like November or December talking about how
deep sighing.
Yeah, how they have to rebuild again.
So, what I was going to say is that I can see a way to make this reign interesting, but it would require MJF to be willing to make a big change. Because what did they do is, like, the night after he won, Kenny Omega gets on the Tron and makes the challenge. Hangman and Swerve show up. Oh, hell, somebody else got on the Tron too, and I can't remember who that was.
It was Bandito, Omega, and
Are we sure that there wasn't somebody else? Because Bandito...
wasn't Swerve, was it?
Hangman and Swerve showed up in the arena.
Okay.
Omega showed up on the screen. I can't remember who the other person on the screen was, but the point is, it was Joe. It was the Option Joe. Which incidentally, I really shouldn't have laughed like I did when I realized that one of the members of the Ops Dojo was Griff Garrison in a different shirt. But if they were willing to take this reign, and MJF's trying to do all this bluster, but he's showing that he is scared to death of all the people that are after him, that could be new and different. And, you know, he's being desperate and he's trying, like, that could be something. But I don't want the same kind of heel run that we already got. I'm not interested in that. That's big sigh. And the thing that I think that kills me the most after I sat and thought about it for a while was that the previous MJF stuff that I have really disliked have been where he is doing things that tear the other person down. You know, here he is. He's his feud with Hangman was great because what was the story? He can't get in Hangman's head.
Yeah.
Right? He's not tearing it down. It's the story of, like, he's throwing the best, you know, what always worked and it's not working now, and he can't figure the Rubik's Cube out. Okay, cool. I like that. You know, that's different.
The Four Pillars,
if it's all...
The Four Pillars match, I think, is a good example of how he tore people down in the build-up.
Yeah, and so if he's doing his... If it's arrogant and I'm this great... Yeah, that's typical heel stuff. But if it's arrogant and I'm this great, and by the way, I'm clipping your knees, and I see that again, I'm done. Like, I hate that so much.
I think the only time as a heel is acceptable to, like, tear someone down is when you're immediately going to get it shoved right up your ass.
Yeah, that, and we talked about that before on the show, many different iterations. It's like, and I even go back to, like, that. I've talked about this before in the show, like the Jim Cornette shoot I listened to from, it was like probably 25 years. Mm-hmm. Not when I listened to it, but the shoots from,
that's like, when they recorded it
25 years ago.
Yeah.
And he had a great booking strategy. I mean, he was a good book. Jim Cornette has gone crazy in the last several years, but a lot of his booking ideas, especially when he booked a Ring of Honor horribly. So, like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, but
he booked Ring of Honor like it was the 90s.
Yeah, true. But he does have some good booking ideas, and he has, when he gets, like, very to basics, it's very good. And it sounds like, well, this should be 101. It is, but it's like people don't get it. But he said something which it still rings true to me. It's like, if whoever you are, you need to build up your opponent. You know, if you're a heel, like, you can get away with being like, my opponent's shit, like, terrible, like that. But you need to then eat shit.
Yeah,
and get that shoved back down your throat.
You have to be proven wrong.
I'll use a great example of how it can work and where it was right. Like, so this is WCW, when Eric Bischoff is, like, shit talking Sting, and he's like, yeah, I slapped the paint right off his face. And the whole time he's saying it, Sting is climbing out of the ring behind him and walking up and then immediately just obliterates him. Like, that's where it's fine. Like when you're doing that and immediately like pay for it, or like you do all that and then they beat you in the match exactly like how you were like, but it has to be the immediate payoff. You can't pay it off differently, because Jericho talked about that, because he was wrestling an older guy and he was like, oh, you're fat and you're an old man and you suck and blah, blah, blah. And then he had to lose the match. And then the guy's like, yeah, you just lost to the fat, like, old man.
It was Bulldog Bob Brown.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he's like, okay, so, you're going to point out all of these things. And when I beat you, because I'm going to beat you, what does that make you look like? And that's my problem, is heels that tear the other person down, especially if the other person is not winning the feud, then they're coming out of that feud worse than they went in.
Yeah.
Which means that you are an active detriment to the people on the roster.
Or another great example, because we talked about it earlier, The Rock and the Hurricane, where The Rock would be really dismissive, and then the Hurricane's like, I hear The Rock has a small ding-a-ling, and he's just like, he like runs him down and tears him down, but then he leaves like, I don't have a small ding-a-ling, like, he gets real insecure about like what he said, so he showed ass.
He was showing his ass. It got to him.
You got to show ass. And that's actually so lost. And if I could shit on Triple H, that's why back in the day Triple H's feeds suck. He'd be like, "I'm the best. I'm gonna beat you," and then he did. He just got to beat the babyface.
That was the whole feud.
And it's like, this achieved nothing.
Like, who's actually really underrated, and I get annoyed because they really shit talk her, but Mercedes Moné is really good at showing ass. Like the last segment they did where she got her face like shoved in the cake while they're arguing, and then Willow just power bombs and destroys her right onto the cake afterwards. Like stuff like that is really.
I have never seen someone be power bombed on a cake before.
Yeah, but like the way but like people bitch because of the cake thing, but it's like, well, no, she showed like. Because there's a principle in wrestling that is if there's a cake, someone's face is going into a cake. Because there's a great Mid-South segment that Shad and I both love, where Jim Cornette's out there and he and the Midnight Express are like partying and all this stuff, and something happens and he's just standing there, and the Rock and Roll Express just do this drive-by and slam his face right into the cake, and like they're on screen for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And I just, when people are like, this is jokey, it's like, people have been going into cakes and wrestling for decades, guys.
Decades. Stop. Yeah. Oh, can't believe it. It's like, this is like a trope. It's literally an established trope in wrestling. But you are correct. You're correct about Mercedes, and that should get emphasized, because specifically her, they act like, oh, look at her with all her belts, like she just has to win all the time, like acting like she has creative control and everything. And it's like, you just don't pay attention, because one, like she's a star, so she's booked as a star, but also she's constantly showing ass. She's constantly getting rubbed in her face. She wins a lot because, again, she's a star, but
and she draws.
She's not afraid to look vulnerable.
People talk about, like, people complain this indies like, oh yeah, we've never drawn more people than when we had Mercedes come to town.
Oh, that was the best thing. Like someone was bitching online, and she was booked like I think it was like a Canadian indie fed, and that, to the credit, whoever runs their like Twitter account was calling people out. It's like, we just had the best attendance we've ever had booking her. Like, so, people were like, oh, what's the point of this? It's like, that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, they had an indie that probably, maybe if they're good, maybe gets a few hundred. They booked like well over, it was like in the thousands. It was like at least like 4-digit numbers.
Yeah.
So it is. Here's a prediction that I hadn't thought about, but going forward, I'm going to predict that this will be a year where we see a Mercedes face turn. She's going to go through a character change, and that's going to be the winning the world title moment. Now, do I think that it's going to be she's going to come back as a heel? And if okay, my prediction, my fantasy booking, whatever we want to call it, is that she's going to come back as a heel and it's still not going to work. And it's still not going to work. And she's going to have a character change before she can succeed on that level. That's my prediction. Now,
I think
I could be way wrong on that, but
I think you could do that in match where she have her fail again and completely freak out, and then she works her way up again, and then she gets to that moment in the match where before she would have failed and she doesn't take the shortcut that time.
Yeah.
And and you can turn her face in the match, I think.
To do that, they have to have her fail for the world title one more time, though.
Yeah.
They have to establish that to get to it.
Yeah.
Will they? I don't know, but that's going to be my guess on it.
Yeah. Okay, a couple of quick ones here because I don't think we'll focus too much on these. So I think CMLL will have another good year. I don't know if it'll be as good as this year, but I think they have another year of good shows.
I don't know if it'll be as good as this year, but this year was fantastic. So it's if it's close, that's gonna be.
Yeah.
We actually, I think a point I don't think we mentioned last week when we talked about CMLL is that they own the arenas that they're having these big shows in. So it's not even they're doing great business selling tickets. It's they also own the arenas. So that's just money they're just right in their pockets. Yeah. And you mentioned before, it's boxing is actually their main revenue. It's not even wrestling, but the wrestling's doing gangbusters and in buildings that they own. So it's just hand over fist.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay. Hang on, because I did have a prediction that I'm sorry feeds into what we were talking about earlier, and I forgot I had written it down. I actually have a prediction because you guys were, the general sentiment seems to be MJF waiting for Ospreay return. My prediction for this coming year is that we are going to have one last face world title run for Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I didn't want to say it because I don't know if it's true, but I think we get an announcement this year from Omega that 2027 is going to be his last active in-ring year, other than maybe a special match here and there.
I could see that. He's the sad reality is once he dropped the title of Hangman, that was pretty much the end. I mean, I understand taking time off to fix a lot of the lingering injuries he had, and it Brad, I know you and I have talked about he's a point in his favor to being the greatest of all time is that he was able to put on the performances he did. And I need 5-star performances with Vertigo amongst actually a litany of other musculoskeletal injuries he had. I think he had knee issues, hernia. But the Vertigo itself was insane because it's there's vertigo. People who just ordinarily have vertigo sometimes have trouble just standing upright, and he's going out there and he's just learn to deal.
No, he's I think it was a Rocky line maybe, and I think he said he was doing a form of this where it's well, I see 3 of them. We'll hit the one in the middle. He was kind of doing that.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh gosh, this is going to be tough, but I think I remember. He told Meltzer that he said, "Well, first of all, I can have a match without really needing to use my shoulders, so that's not a huge deal." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?" And then the other thing was, he said, "Well, you get out there and you start going, and the ring starts to spin, and you just get used to it." And I'm like, okay."
No.
Yeah.
I don't think I will.
But I think there's a strong possibility we hear next year's the.
I don't think he's going to call his shot the way Danielson did. I think it'll be more of a Japanese style retirement match.
Well, a lot of the Japanese stars this is going to be my last year because Tanahashi just did it. Riza Sarah, her match is coming up, isn't it?
It just happened.
Oh, okay. Did Suzuki actually make that? Because I know there was questions if she was.
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
I don't.
She has health
I
problems.
Yeah, I don't know the finish.
I'm sure
Suzu has
Ryza.
health problems?
Yeah,
Like
they
injuries?
were. No, she seems to have like I can't think of the word. She has like a continuous issue that like flares
Do we
up
know what
sometimes.
it is?
No, they haven't shared it.
Like an inflammatory arthritis type of thing, or
I don't know. I just know like someone was. I heard people. I was watching a discussion and they were talking about how she.
That's kind of sad because like
she's really talented.
She's very talented, but she's also really young. She's like maybe like 21, 22. Like she's been around a few years, but because she's been that's not uncommon in Joshi. Like you could be like Riho is like not even 30 yet, and she's like a 15-year vet.
Well, I mean, like
Rina or something. She's been around a long time.
Rina's like 19, and she's been around for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, she's been around a while.
Yeah. Well, was the Rise of Sarah on a Stardom show, or did they do that on a different show? Because I want to check that.
No, that was a different show.
Okay.
I don't know if that was like Sendai Girls or.
She just
I know it was not on Stardom.
Okay, because she did the weekend show. She lost Hanako. So we'll see. I'm sad. I like Rise of Sarah.
Yeah. She's also not that old. She's like, I think, early 30s.
32. She's like either 32 or 34. She's in that age range.
Yeah.
So, I have another prediction. I know people do this all the time, but I think it's true this time. I think TNA gets canceled by September off of AMC.
You say September. Like, I actually did put on my predictions. Like, I think that it does not do well in the ratings. I think that it's possible it does get canceled. I probably didn't feel when it came out that they signed this contract with them. There was like a 60-day out clause on it. I'm like, that's really weird.
Yeah.
I was like, sure, and I could see it, and certainly at least initially, maybe doing better than whatever is on AMC during that time slot.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why they keep it. But at the same time, they posted like the cards so far for their big debut show, and it's so bad to the point where they have no stars, and they all left.
They all left because they were.
Yeah, the last 2 days is trickling that all of their stars have been leaving, and then contracts expired.
They're bleeding talent because WWE like can't help themselves. They pulled Leon Slater, which was like one of their few remaining like. Because Jake something left and debuted in AEW, which that's a terrible loss for them.
Oh yeah, but they didn't do anything with him. That's a guy that you could have put the world title on him.
Yeah,
potentially.
And Killer Kelly left, who isn't like she's not like a top tier talent, but it shows you the kind of depth pieces they were losing.
Yeah. The Rascals left, which it's like, whatever,
they're kind of.
But it's also like what you need. You need bodies. You need bodies.
I hate
you need the carpenters. You need the mechanics.
But I hate that though, because the people are like, well, I want to see the Rascals in AEW, and it's like, no, like they're fine, but they're like relics of like a bygone era of indie wrestling, and they don't need to be on.
I think Ace Austin is better than all of them, and since he's signed, like they've struggled finding spots for Ace Austin on TV.
Yep. And
they showcased him for a bit, and then I think the restriction of available TV time got away.
And like,
yes, I think he's great, and I hope that he's one of the guys in 2026.
Oh yeah,
breakout year for him, because I would love to see more of him. He's really good. He's a good signing, but that's an example. It's like AEW only has so much time.
Yeah.
I would love if 2026 sees them get another show, and maybe that show is just Ring of Honor not just on the network, on Ring of Honor network. It's on like a TV network, even if it's like Fox Sports or something at a weird time on the weekends. And maybe they do an hour, maybe they expand it. I don't know. Like, I would let that just so more people can get exposure.
And the thing is, though, with the Rascals, it's like, okay, well, you have Top Flight, which It's kind of the same thing, except they're younger and better. And it's just like, if you bring the Rascals in, you might as well have kept Private Party, because I don't see a big differentiation between those two teams other than like they're too indie for that.
I wanted to say, Matt, even if they didn't get another TV show, I would love it if they could just bring back Dark.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can just be, we're doing this. Folks are going out there. They're getting more matches. We're able to showcase more people.
That's kind of ROH now.
Dark, yeah, but Dark was great because a lot of guys when Dark first started, it was actually. And now I'll say marquee matches because it was like your lower card guys, but it was like lower card guys versus.
It was like watching guys. It was like watching Worldwide.
Yes, yeah, and that was fine. And then as they got more guys, it became kind of almost just like your name talent in squash matches against local indie guys.
You know where they went wrong with?
But it gave guys reps. It gave guys tons of reps, and it helped them improve.
And then
Red
get
Velvet
a look.
Was always on it, and Red Velvet has actually developed into like a pretty decent worker.
Yeah.
And those local indie guys get a look, and maybe they get like some good feedback from people and be like, "Hey, man, that was really."
Look, back in the day, that's kind of how like the Outrunners got a look, and eventually, I think I even told you guys back in the day. I'm like, when the gimmick, I'm like, oh, these guys got over with the crowd, and they were fun. I'm like, oh, these guys are gonna like get themselves a contract.
That's where Willow kind of started too.
Yeah, Willow started on Dark.
Where they went wrong, though, is they didn't take care of Elevation or Dark. And especially, I think, where Dark went wrong is during COVID. Like, Dark turned into, like, a 3-hour show.
Well, Dark went away because of the Warner deal.
Well, I know, but I'm saying...
They wanted all their stuff.
I'm saying they could have kept... I think it might have survived. Because they did get it back down to, like, an hour. But there was, like... a while where it was like a 3-hour show, and it's like, I am not degenerate enough to watch 3 straight hours of squash matches.
Yeah, Brad is exactly right. Like, I actually tried to watch it, but then it became like I struggle watching just a lot of regular content, weekly content. I'm always behind on it just because there's so many hours, and I have like 2 small kids, so I fit it in like late at night, and sometimes it's like, oh, it's like 11 o'clock at night, like let me try and watch like a 2-hour episode of Dynamite, and it's like, no, like I maybe will, but maybe I won't. But it got to be unwieldy where it's like 2 hours of AEW Dark. It's like, and I would wind up just like fast forwarding until I see something that would be interesting, like Pretty Pete Avalon. Versus Brandon Cutler.
Yeah, I know.
Like their feud. It'd be like, this is kind of funny and clever.
Speaking of what you're saying, I'm like, I don't care about spoilers, but like, you know, it is hard to fit it in. Sometimes I'm sitting there on Cage Match, like, okay, I have 30 minutes. Like, how long are the net? Like, okay, I can watch exactly 2 matches on the Stardom show to work through this.
Yeah.
And I do that.
I'm that way. Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm on the next, like, I'm on, like, the next show. Okay, I know the first couple matches are going to be, like, 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, I can get through, like, 3 of them today. Like, that's how I operate.
Yeah. Well, for example, Brad, people were raving about the recent match from, like, a week or so ago, Miyu Watanabe versus Suzume.
Yeah.
Like, and people, like, raving about it. I think Meltzer even gave it, like, 4.75 stars. Like, he loved it. And I've heard some people say, like, this is one of the best women's matches of the last few years. Like, it was great. And I think I looked it up on Cage Match, and it's like a 30-minute match or something.
Yeah,
I know. I'm gonna have to carve out time for that.
Oh, and I gotta watch the whole show too, because it's
I love wrestling. I love watching stuff, but it's also, you gotta be realistic. It's like if it's a 30-minute match, it's like, all right, I gotta set time aside for that. I can't just like pop it on.
Yeah, because you don't want to get interrupted midway. You got to make sure you can pay attention. Like, I get it with that.
But I agree. Like, I wish that Tony could work out some sort of deal where our AEW Dark does come back in some fashion. If it's like, let's keep it concise and tight to 1 hour.
Or make it a Ring of Honor show.
Yeah, maybe. But I feel Ring of Honor I almost would want like a 2-hour show. But I don't know that people.
Ring of Honor's 2 hours a lot. I wish Ring of Honor was actually.
Is it? I don't watch it.
So I like it. I just can't fit it in because like it's very much a throwback to like Worldwide or something. Like it has because like it's a bit lower stake the way they do the TV and stuff, and it's like a more chill experience with some title matches. Like I like that. I think they were actually well they do it before the shows, but I think they started it off in like because they were doing Dark too from the Impact and like where they did Worldwide. They were doing it from that studio for a while. But okay, so yeah, I think TNA just won't make it because they don't have the star power.
I got nothing on that one. Here, this is a less serious one, and it's not that I want this to happen, but I could see it happening. When we get the inevitable FTR versus Cage and Copeland match, Copeland's going to injure himself trying to keep up the pace with the other three of them.
I believe that. Okay, so you guys ready for some Japan predictions?
Just going to have to take your word on it, dude.
Okay, well, this is business related, so I think Stardom doesn't have the growth of last year because they had insane growth, but I think they further jump up the chart and pull away and become a clear number 2. I think you see something like because I watched their Korakuen shows, one of their Korakuen shows over the weekend, and it was packed. Like they have, like when you like turn on a promotion, like even if, and you can just feel like it's hot. Like they have that feel right now, so I think they continue to grow. I think Noah fucks up because they can't help themselves and they kind of fall back off a little bit. They're kind of already in the process of that. I think All Japan continues to have a strong year. I think Dragon Gate finally kind of gets it together, and they don't like rebound entirely, but you see some good growth there. I think Marigold kind of stays the same, and then I think
I see Marigold. I actually see Marigold like falling farther. Like they're not in great shape.
No. Because he didn't like they had that big show and then he just went straight into like maintenance booking, waiting for the next thing to happen. So they lost all their hype. New Japan, I'm not sure. I think New Japan will be kind of. I think it'll be kind of like where people have complaints about the quality of the product, but then it comes around and they did a little better than last year.
I think that they could do a little better, but I personally feel like the Yota Tsuji reign is not going to ultimately be a big success. I think he has got a great character. I think he's got a great look. But to me, the in-ring isn't to the level of other people.
I think we'll see Takeshi to win it back this year.
Maybe. I could actually see potentially them putting it back on Goto. Because things were going Goto was almost like a Samoa Joe that he kind of righted the ship a bit. So I think I think we're gonna see. Like I think if Tsuji isn't doing so great, then maybe by like in May, like by Dominion, you could see them put it back on Goto. I like him. My opinion of him has improved, but I don't want to see another Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, I know. Yeah, two of those.
I'm okay not having a third.
He needs to move somewhere else.
I also think, like, depending on how much he improves, they're gonna strap the rocket to Aaron Wolf. Like, you already saw, like, he had a huge reaction for his Wrestle Kingdom match. If he improves, like,
just don't be Hook, Aaron Wolf. Don't be Hook.
I think already looks
better. Look. I'm fair certain that a gold medalist judoka is going to have a better work ethic.
I don't know, man. Like, there's a certain idiot talent that WWE had that was an amateur wrestler with a lot of success that didn't work out and was known to be lazy as fuck. So,
I don't think that applies with Aaron Wolf, though.
No, I don't think so.
So how can I best phrase it? From the way that I have understood people talking about Aaron Wolf, this is a guy who is already a celebrity in Japan. And what he did with his entrance was symbolizing, I'm going about this the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And because I think part of it was Evil saying, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna make you wear like the young lion gear and like buzz your head and all that sort of stuff. And so part of Aaron Wolf's entrance was, I already did. You can't take that away from me because I've already
Mm-hmm.
done it. Like the guy is showing me a lot of he already gets it.
Yeah.
I think
has the work ethic to do well.
I think New Japan fans are going to stake their claim for being almost as obnoxious as WWE fans this year because they're trying their best. Because they were mad butthurt about what Okada said after the Dome show. Did you see what that tidbit was? Matt,
he was like, wasn't he like shitting on management?
Well, he's like, yeah, like, we went back there and like no one from management came and like said anything to us or congratulated us. And he's like, when you work in AEW, like Tony Khan's right there, shakes your hand, like says good job, and he really shows that he appreciates you. And people were big mad that he said that.
The problem is like that wasn't him doing a bit. That's the real Okada. Like that was Okada speaking actually from his heart as like a real it's like no, the mask is off. This isn't like Okada the character. This is me. Like because he wasn't just like, oh, no one congratulated me when I got to the back. Like he may have said that, but the phrasing I heard specifically was like,
it was like
Tanahashi's it's like this is like the Tanahashi's retirement match. Like no one came back there to like be like, oh my god, like thank you, like you did so great, whatever.
Thanks for selling all these seats.
Off. Yeah, he got pissed off about that. Like they were disrespecting Tanahashi. And again, like the kayfabe Okada was right before, because he gave like a kayfabe interview. It's like, oh yeah, like we sold out the Dome. It's like, yeah, that's all me. People came to see me, and it's like that's like that's the bravado. That's the kayfabe Okada. Like, yes, me, the greatest star. Afterwards, he's like, fuck New Japan management. Like they didn't like say shit to Tanahashi, even though he carried them on their backs like 20 years. Yeah. Like that's the real him. He's legit pissed.
Yeah.
And he's actually said, if you follow like Okada, part of the reason why he left for AEW, there's multiple different things that he got pissed with New Japan management on over the years. And he had the right to be pissed because Okada, people, I guess, still don't recognize the level of star Okada is. Like, Tanahashi is kind of like maybe the equivalent of Cena in terms of like how big he was for wrestling in Japan. Like Cena was big for wrestling in Japan, in North America, at the WWE. Like he's big. He's probably like, I mean, you could probably say Roman Reigns and Cody are aces, but they're of a lower level than Cena was.
Yeah, because Cena even until recently, like if a show is struggling, you could just slap his name on it, and you were going to sell like 1,500 tickets like immediately.
Yeah. Cena was below Austin Rock and certainly below Hogan.
Yeah.
And Okada, I'm not going to say it's like Hogan level, but Okada is like probably going back to Austin Rock level of like just a gigantic star, but also like a fantastic worker. Like Okada's a rarity because he's not even 40 yet, I don't think, and already is like Hall of Fame. Like one, and not just in Japan, but certainly in Japan. But when it's all tallied, like he's going to be considered one of the best of all time. But
and
the fact that he's like pissed off at management for different things, like he has the right to be, because like he's that level of star.
And like to the level of their product has had issues for a long time, and he was a big enough star to like paper over a lot of those cracks.
Yeah. The thing that I come back to Aaron Wolf, the thing that I loved about Aaron Wolf, I didn't see the full match, but I saw like his entrance and some of the things. He came out and he pulled off his gi, and it's like some people, I think like maybe was Dave Meltzer even like criticizing that? And it's like, no, dude, you're dead wrong, man. This is exactly what we're so back. We've never been more back. And right now, we got a fat ass dude coming out there, just throwing guys around, power slamming. It's like we've harkened back to the days of
Jerry
Shinya Hashimoto.
Blackwell Jerry Blackwell, Shinya.
Shinya Hashimoto. Like, he's the second coming of Shinya Hashimoto. He's coming back there, big fat dude, just dropping bombs on people. He's gonna be awesome. Let's be honest, if Inoki was still alive and running things in New Japan, like a week from now, like Aaron Wolf would win the title.
Oh no, he would have won the title. He would have won the title in this match.
Right. Yeah. That's the main event. Aaron Wolf debuting the world
like
title.
He would have won the title, come out, retired Tanahashi, and then beat Okada. Like that's would have been like an Inoki booking.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think Japan will have another up year, but I do think Noah just can't help themselves. I think Noah will screw something up this year.
Yeah. I like your predictions on Stardom. I think Stardom will have a good year. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. In a sense, like does Saya Kamatami like continue with the title? Like I see her dropping it. I would have thought I could see her dropping it to someone like Bozilla, but Bozilla's maybe injured, so I don't know. But otherwise, who are you going to pull the trigger on?
You could go with so I think you could do Suri again because she's been having she's really picked up a lot of steam. Like her match with oh sorry my brain her match with for the IWGP Women's title was really well received.
Yeah,
and she's really getting a lot of early hype. Like people are talking about her a lot again.
Well, and I hate to be this way because she's like a female and the men can work until they're like, old and gray. But she's edging into her late 30s, which isn't a big deal, except like it kind of is when you're a woman. Like
she's got a pretty age-friendly style though, because I mean, you can kick people till you're pretty old.
Yeah. And she's a great shape. Like she's a fantastic athlete. So I'm not saying that, but I mean, if you're going to maybe like run that back with her with the red belt, then maybe you pull it sooner rather than later. Like,
yeah, I think you'll see. I think you'll see. This is a more silly prediction. It's not silly in context, but like more just taking a shot. I think you'll see Azumi or Starlight Kid win the white belt this year.
Okay. Starlight Kid, I think, had it.
Maybe.
Do you maybe pull the trigger on one of them winning the red belt?
No, I think they need a little intermediary time. I think if I was to pull the trigger on one of them, I think I would do Azumi first.
Yeah, probably. They're both good workers.
And Starlight doesn't. Starlight needs.
I can see both.
Starlight. I feel like Azumi, you could really take her to the next level, but with Starlight, I think with or without the belt, like she doesn't need it, like really.
Yeah, she's gonna be over. I can see both of them winning it at some point in the next like 2-3 years. I would say.
Shad, she has the coolest frog splash I need to show you. So what she does is she does her frog splash, but she flips in the air, so she lands on them frog splash with her head towards the turnbuckle. So she rotates in the air.
Kevin Knight's UFO.
Yeah, sort of. She kind of flips in the air. So she kind of like rotates in the air for it.
Okay, yeah.
I think, like I said, I think Japan will have a good year. I think Stardom's primed. I think I would do Azumi over Starlight because I think just Starlight needs it less. I think she's just a bigger star in her own right.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked before. Like, she has the mask, and she's someone I think like don't ever lose the mask. Like the mask is such a great part of the gimmick, and I think that is so marketable. Like I don't know if they're selling Starlight Kid, but they should be.
I would be.
Yeah, it's almost like you could reach in your own way, like Rey Mysterio level, like iconic type. It's kind of like a little bit of in the same vein of like Tiger Mask. Yeah. So yeah,
Another silly one. I will be going to great lengths probably for the next 3 months to get one of those White Castle AEW masks.
I need that.
Chad. They sold out. They fucking sold out.
They sold out first day in a couple hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love one of those.
Maybe they'll get more, but I was so pissed because I was like, I don't live.
I'll probably get more on AEW.com.
Well, I could get one at White Castle pretty easy, but like I was
if
just
you pull out a White Castle mask, I'm gonna be pissed, Chad. You're like, I got one. Like,
no. That's not the thing that I went to go try a bacon brawl combo, and it's like one of those, like, I realized I haven't been to White Castle in a while because it tore my guts up.
Yeah.
Normally it's not a big deal for me, but I had a friend explain something to me. It's, the phenomenon people talk about, how Taco Bell tears them up. It's because Taco Bell uses pinto beans as part of their stuff, and if you don't have the enzyme in your digestive tract built up to deal with pinto beans, then it tears your stomach up. But if you've got that enzyme built up, you don't have a problem with it at all. So I guess I don't have like the White Castle onion enzyme built up or something.
Getting I'll since I referenced him earlier, a friend of the show, Christy Petrillo, you start getting what he calls the bubble guts. He's like, it's like, oh no, that starts happening. You're like, oh no, I'm in for a bad
It wasn't
scene.
even really that for me. It was just, I'd be sitting at work, or I'd be sitting here at home and stuff, and all of a sudden I'd be like, all right, head to the bathroom
quickly.
Yeah. So
y'all have White Castle.
Yeah.
Nowhere near in the DC area, but my family is from the South. We went to the South often enough, to Georgia, and they got Crystal down there.
I've seen one of those once.
Call that Crystal is like the White Castle of the South, because it's the same thing. It's like little burger sliders.
It's like the same menu, but they're not the same company, because and I don't know why.
It's similar.
They feel like they should be the same company. It's like this should be like
the one that
Southern rebranding of.
The one that's annoying here is, and I don't know why they have both, but Rallies and Checkers is the same exact restaurant.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, but we have both, and I don't know why we have both.
It's like Hardee's and Carl's Jr.'s are the same thing.
Yeah,
owned by the same company, with a different name.
But that makes sense though, because those are regionally divided. So like when you go past a certain point, they become Carl's Jr. But like I said, like like Columbus has Checkers and Rallies, and it's like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why do you have both? They're the same thing.
I don't know. I know there used to be a Crystals here, and it went away like 15 years ago. And then White Castle showed up 5 years ago or something like that. And about an hour, but 45 minutes south of me, there was a Crystals location there, and it's gone. So maybe Crystals is contracting more into the south now, or they overexpanded. I'm not sure.
Big Boy did the same weird shit too, because they're all mostly gone here because COVID eventually wiped them out. But so do you have any Big Boys there, Matt, or have you ever had them? Okay, so
there used to be one that I knew of, literally within like walking distance of my house, but it closed probably, oh my god, at least like 30 years ago, maybe more. So like a long time ago, in the 90s.
So the thing when you come into contact with a Big Boy in the wild, so it can either be Big Boy, Frisch's Big Boy, or just Frisch's, and it's the same restaurant.
Oh, see, back in the day, it was Bob's Big Boy. That's one.
Well, what happens is Big Boy was licensed out to different franchising groups. So Frisch's was a franchising group, and it might have been, I'm speculating, but it might have been that they had a contract for X number of Big Boy locations, whereas, and so the places they didn't, it was just a Frisch's. But yes, Bob's Big Boy, Frisch's, like all those were groups that had licensed the Big Boy franchise to have for locations, but they were owned by different organizations.
Because I know here up in the northern part of the state, a couple of the franchisees, they did something where they bought the right that even if Big Boy goes under, they can still run their restaurant as Big Boy. So they bought like some because it's going like COVID killed it because it killed their business, and the only thing that is keeping a lot of them alive is their breakfast buffet on Saturday.
Yeah, that's
because I know you haven't, but if you try to go to a Big Boy on a Saturday morning, it is nuts in there.
The one here, it was both weekend mornings.
They added Wednesday eventually to try and make more money.
But to be 100% honest with you, I feel like that their breakfast buffet is not as good as Shoney's, and we have gotten way far afield from.
I haven't been to Shoney's. They had them here a long time ago.
Funny that you mention it. There's no Shoney's that I can think of in my area. But the restaurant I'm thinking of that was Bob's Big Boys changed into a Shoney's after Bob's Big Boy closed. But the Shoney's left like so many years ago. That lasted like a decade or so.
We've also we're also losing
back in the day
we're also losing TJ's, which makes me sad because I like TJ's.
Never heard of TJ's.
I have been to a Shoney's in the last year because we took we had not gotten a chance to really go anywhere, do anything at all because things were tough for us, and we saved up a little money. And because, to be honest with you, at the age my kids are at, we hadn't done like a proper vacation anywhere. So we did the thing a lot of people do, and we went to Gatlinburg, and guess what? There's one there. So, man, restaurants in that area have got to be just killing it because they're like, you go down the strip from Pigeon Forge, there's like 5 of the same like flapjack house. Just 2 miles apart from each other.
My personal favorite is always going to be Waffle House. Like that's my favorite place because my friend and I went to one like a number of years. It was like a new one, and we were just horrified. We're like sitting there like man, like this is just wrong. Like our waitress has all of her teeth. Like it's clean. Like where's the guy like with the gun that you're worried is going to rob you as soon as you walk out of here? Like this is just wrong.
There used to be a ton. There used to be a ton in my area, and I can think of a single one that's like even within like an hour driving distance. But I've only ever been to Waffle House like extremely late at night and drunk. So
I like it because
I can't ever say.
I like it because they're always open. So like if you were traveling to family or something and you get back late and it's like Thanksgiving Day, it's like, oh, let's just go to Waffle House and get something, or Christmas Day, or that's always been nice about it.
There's 2 near me, and I appreciate them. One thing I really appreciate about Waffle House is if you're willing to show up and work, they'll put you to work. Like that for the vast majority of people, you're willing to show up and put the work in, they will put you to work. And I appreciate that a lot. So you come through the area, it's like, we can go Waffle House. Actually, from the Waffle House nearest my home, you can see the location that was the Frisch's in town that turned into my favorite Mexican place in town.
That's funny. So do we have any more predictions for 2026?
I feel like that for the stuff I watch, I don't know. Well, any other predictions that I would feel sure of are not things that I'm particularly thrilled to have happen.
Yeah, I agree. Because I will say personally, I don't know if I said this last week, but I've decided I'm not going to watch AEW for a while. I signed up for a couple of extra. I signed up for All Japan and Dragon Gate because I was just like, well, like AEW is going in a direction. Like I'm just going to take a break until they start going in a direction I like, and I'm just going to watch more Japan this year. This is kind of how.
And that makes perfect sense to me. Mm-hmm. I keep watching AEW because, in my humble opinion, well, okay, I should rephrase. for the most part, I feel like that Tony Khan has done more things well and or the way I like them than he hasn't. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and see how things turn out. I'm not, or it may just be that at a certain point, at a certain quarter hour, it's like, hey, it's time for me to go to the bathroom because I don't want to hear MJF
You just
talk.
see the scarf on the thing. It's like, well, I really
like,
gotta pee, or
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I bet that last piece of pizza in the kitchen like needs a company.
So I'm gonna go refill my glass or something like that.
Yeah.
Why? Because in any event, the most of the stuff I'm pretty happy with. I'm hoping that we see more elevation. Hoping, not really prediction, but more elevation of Bandito. Honestly, I'm kind of seeing more of Brody King doing stuff because Brody King stands out differently. But I don't feel strong enough to make that a prediction.
I feel like he's kind of found a good niche there, so I don't know what more you can do with him. I will say we said this last year. I think the full pants look is a lot better for him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but just the it's just something about the way that trunks fit on him make him look baggy, and that kind of it's not flattering.
Yeah, I think the long didn't tights
help
either.
I'm gonna continue watching AEW. I understand your concerns. I share some of those concerns. I think, and I actually mentioned this before in the show, the quote that she gave, but Lyric Wrestling is a great follow on social media. Mm-hmm. She did a quote, which I'm not gonna, can't recall it exactly word for word, but it was basically like that wrestling, the enjoy all wrestling crowd. It's like, no, because not all wrestling is enjoyable, and wrestling is actually, in terms of a hobby, it's actually a really expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Like, I don't buy AEW pay-per-views. AEW pay-per-views are $50, which is not, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of money. But also, like, I don't have $50 to just give them.
Well, and
every other month.
And there's stuff like this too.
Yeah, there's Ron Simmons. Hey, I know the DVD.
I'm just saying, like, buying footage and stuff is expensive. Like signing up for
it's expensive if you sign up for services like. You can get them cheap. Like we've talked about, Wrestle Universe is a great service.
Yeah.
You can get multiple different Japanese promotions, and it costs you like $10 or less a month.
But you get more than one usually, like a certain me who has like 4 right now.
Yeah, so it could be expensive to, like, as a hobby, but so I understand the concept where it's like, I'm not going to spend my precious time and money on stuff that doesn't interest me or I'm not going to find enjoyable.
And I don't want to. The other thing is, like, with that is like the enjoy all wrestling is like, no, like I don't like certain things, and like I don't want to force myself through the next 6 months of AEW and then get the problem I have is like, so I don't want to like bitch about it all the time for starters, but I also don't want to end up hate watching it for the next 6 months and then just hating AEW and not watching it anymore. Where I could just take 6 months, watch some other stuff I want to watch, and come back when they're doing something I'm interested in and be like, oh, okay, like this is kind of fresh again, and like,
I get that. I'm also not on the enjoy all wrestling because, frankly,
low key exists.
That there's low key and death matches exist. Yeah, no, you've got me dead to rights. And no, I'm not going to enjoy that. Quit telling me to enjoy that. If I think it sucks, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AEW, part of the reason why I'm going to give them more the benefit of the doubt is because they have reached a very good spot now where there is such depth to the company that even if I'm not excited for another long MJF reign, and I'm not, they have such depth that it's like, okay, well, there's probably a dozen other wrestlers in AEW that are getting significant amount of TV time that I will just focus on over MJF. So
yeah,
there's a lot that I could probably just, I can justify watching AEW because these many other people.
Yeah.
And just tune out the MJF segments if I find them
just fast
taxing.
forward. Fast forward. But
like I said, man.
Like I said, I think there's a lot of people in spheres like that where it's just like, man, dude, you need to take a break.
Well, wrestling has become its own, like, it's such a, it actually is a very niche, however you pronounce that word, community.
Yeah. They're both acceptable.
It's such a small community, but at the same time, like, people have made obviously like a business, a cottage industry on talking about wrestling and everything, to the point where they watch stuff to the point where it's not enjoyable anymore, and it's like,
you can tell
at that point, just stop.
Yeah,
just take a step back. And I understand that maybe like you've made this your livelihood.
You shouldn't have done that, though.
It's not working. Yeah, it's not working anymore. And even shows that I really like we've talked about the flagship before. Like, there's a lot of stuff like Joe Lanza talks about, and it's like, dude, you don't like this, so just don't watch it. And I was listening to stuff from like 2 years ago that he did, and I even messaged you guys and I was laughing about it. This is when certain people, like 2023, like, people got released from WWE, and he was like, oh, like, these guys are it's a lock. These guys are gonna go to AEW. And some of the guys he mentioned, it's like they didn't even have they never showed up.
Yeah.
Like Mustafa Ali, it's like, Tony Khan, whatever. He's like, no, I'm not going to sign him, which was a good decision.
Like, I tend to. Yeah. I would say philosophical, Joe Lanza and I are in the same stratosphere of wrestling. Like, I don't agree with him on everything. Like, he's a little too. So I would say he and I intersect a lot, but where I disagree with him on a lot of stuff is wrestling does need the nonsense, because that's what separates, like, wrestling from like just being like MMA. And but like, where I also get frustrated with him is, like, I don't know, it's like, just avoid stuff you don't. I know they have to talk about certain things, but it's just like,
I'm with you, because he and I, probably like you and him, like, if we actually sat down and talked about the things we like and what we're into with wrestling, like, we probably have more common ground than not. Like, we probably like more of the same things.
And he's turned me on to some stuff, like All Japan, like, getting me to watch that. Like, that's because of them.
Yeah. Like, but at the same time, it's like I'm a pro wrestling nerd. I've been watching wrestling in some form for like 30 plus years.
Yeah.
But the whole wrestling is serious business.
No.
That is for a very small niche community.
Yeah.
That's even more of a slice of the community.
Like, that
takes that seriously. He was railing in this podcast episode I listened to from like 2 years ago. He was railing against, like, oh, I hate the timeless Tony Storm gimmick.
Yeah.
This is so WWE. It's exactly what I hate, and I don't want this. And it's like, I talked about it last episode, that Tony Storm, and in the time that he was like railing against this to now, the little over 2+ years since then, she's become an iconic character, to the point where we're going to look back at this decade of wrestling and be like, this is one of the best female characters, if not of all time, certainly of the decade. Like, she's fantastic.
I think,
and he was like hating on it because he's, pro wrestling is serious business. And it's like, yeah, it can be. Maybe I agree with that. Maybe that's what I prefer, but it's also like, that doesn't work.
No, and we've seen
it doesn't work for mainstream.
Like, Evolve would have been huge if people want, like,
look, serious business all the time wears people out. You need some goofy in order to break it up and make things a little bit different, because people, they also want to laugh or enjoy things, so let them do it. God.
Yeah.
Shad, go ahead.
I would have, if I had gotten out of I was trying to be serious business all the time, my career probably would have been a lot more successful.
We've all we have all been to indie shows or big time wrestling shows, but indie shows, or Shad, you've worked on indie shows where there is some sort of like mid card comedy jokey match, and if you want to take the wrestling as serious business stuff, you'd be like, fucking bullshit. How many times have we seen those matches like go over huge?
Well, it's because
like the kids in the attendance love it. Like everyone laughs. It's just a lighthearted thing.
Because if you're on some,
they go over. Because that's needed. That's needed sometimes.
Well, because like when I go to shows, like because ROH shows were long as fuck, but it's like if you're on some if you're sitting through some 4 or 5 hour show, by like hour 3, and I've talked about this before on here. Like to me, well, 2.5 hours is the perfect show, but like when you're in like 3.5 hours into a show, like I have seen the same dive 5 gajillion times, and I'm ready for like that's where it's like when you're at like 3.5 hours, like yeah, like why don't you bring some plunder out or do something funny? Like I need a change up. And I was gonna say I think it's funny with like someone like Joe Lanza. Isn't it funny how when you agree with someone a lot and like your tastes are similar, you get more frustrated with them when they kind of go afield and you think they're wrong than someone that you think is just an idiot that you don't listen to. Like when Ibu does something, like I think he makes points sometimes, but when he says something I don't agree with him, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like it's just Ibu being Ibu. But like when Joe says something like I disagree with, I'm like, Joe, like what are you doing, man?
Yeah. The statement, I was listening to one of the episodes and they're like, oh, and then there's Jack Perry, and it's like I don't care for Jack Perry, and then I don't think he's any good, and I'm like, oh my god, guys, come on. Yeah. There's a difference between I don't care for this guy on my TV and he sucks and he shouldn't be there. There is a tremendous difference.
Yeah. Oh, I think he made an argument in the last like couple months where it's like, oh, Bandito is great, like they should absolutely push him. And the same, it's at like the next breath, it was like, oh, but they won't push him, and even if they do push him, it's bad. It's like,
I think he was
complaining that they won't push him, but you're also saying if they push him, like there's going to be problems, it's going to be bad. It's like, what? There's no way to win there.
I think
like push this guy because he's awesome, but they won't. But if they do push him, it's going to be a problem.
I think what he was saying.
But they won't push him, so they also suck. It's like
I think what he was saying in that particular argument, because I remember it. I think what he was specifically saying was, don't push him by jobbing him. I think is what they were saying in that specific situation, because it was right after he lost to Okada, and I think they were saying like I think you should push him. But don't push him by jobbing him like you have other people, because I don't think it would work. So I think that's like the specific argument he was making in that case. But yeah, like I said, I think because I get frustrated with him because like I respect his opinion, and when I think he's wrong, I'm just like, come on, dude. Like for someone I think is just a clown, where it's easy to dismiss him, but it's funny how you come to have higher and I truly with them, I do give him some grace sometimes, because I do think they kayfabe it a little bit, and he's working a little.
Probably.
He's healing it a little. Because that's why people get upset with Alvarez for stuff, and I agree with like your criticism of Alvarez, but sometimes people be like, oh, can you believe Alvarez said this? And you're like watching it, and it's like, Alvarez is just kayfabing this, guys. Like, stop clutching your pearls.
And Alvarez will also say, I am speculating. He will say that from the beginning. I'm speculating. I could see this happening, something like that. And then people, oh, he said this, and look, he's wrong again. It's like,
I like how you just did
specifically.
I like how you just did the. I like how you just did the Muppet, like with the fire behind them.
Yeah, it's like you are specifically ignoring what he said in order to try and aggregate up some clicks.
So, God. So are we? So let's do this like as a round table real quick, and then we'll call it a night. So do you think 2026 is going to be a good year, a mid year, or a bad year? Because I think for me 2025 ended. I thought it was going to be a bad year, and I thought it started really rough, but it actually stealthed its way to being like a pretty good year last year for me.
That's fair. I probably agree with that. I feel it's going to be a mid-year. That's the feeling I get. I think it's going to be a mixed bag. I think some promotions it's going to be okay to not okay. Some promotions it'll be great. Like I think your assessment of Stardom is going to be pretty interesting. Like I think that's probably accurate. But most people aren't going to watch Stardom. So
yeah.
I think WWE will decline further. Yeah. AEW, I don't know what they're going to do. Like,
I think
it
they're
depends.
going to
take. Like I could see where we're like frustrated, but I could also see they may just continue doing well. Like
I think
again,
they're going to
it has such
backslide
depth.
a little. I think they're going to backslide a little bit personally.
Maybe
on some things.
I think the depth is. I think the depth is again. It's so high that they might be able to avoid that a little bit.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. I agree. It's going to be a mid-year. Overall, I'm going to say personally, I think I'm going to have a good year because I'm veering into something different, and I've like kind of varied my promotions up, and I'm going to be in Japan. Like I think for me personally, it's going to be a good year because I'm not going to watch like crappy WWE or like disappoint myself with AEW to start the year. So I think overall, like I think WWE is going to be really bad this year. I think AEW is going to have a bit of a backslide, like I said. I think like TNA is just going to be terrible.
Here's a
of the stuff that I watch, which is primarily AEW because they typically do most what I enjoy. I think it'll be a mid at worst. Because as an example, like last year, the whole Jeff Jarrett, the last ride of the last Outlaw thing that got torched after 2 segments. If something is stinking out is stinking it up, they kill it pretty quick. So I feel reasonably sure that if something is stinking it up, if they absolutely want to wrap it up, they'll just go ahead and wrap it up. They're not going to draw it out. And the stuff that's going to be good on there, I think, would be enough to balance the bad. So, I'm sorry, Matt, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
What was I going to say? I was going to pose the question. It's like, where are we going to see Jericho show up? WWE, TNA,
no, that is a great question, because after John Cena's retirement run, who Triple H was frankly just jealous of, and after Goldberg's retirement, I have a reasonable amount of certainty that Jericho's going to go, I don't think I'm going to get much out of a retirement run over there now. I don't think they're going to be that, but I don't know what he's going to do.
Has there been much chatter about that? Because I know like it was always just a contract thing, so but people have been expecting it. I think he's going to probably show up at the Rumble if I had to guess, but I don't.
I think he's touring with Ozzy for a couple of months, or with Fozzy for a couple of months. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, he would do Dynamite even when Fozzy was touring, though. He would just not do Wednesdays.
I don't. How can I put this? I would not be surprised if he shows up in WWE or AEW. If he shows up in TNA, I'm absolutely going to be shocked. They down, left, right, blown away.
I've wondered if like he'll be a surprise at like their debut, and like that's how they kind of try and survive the next like 2-3 months, because he debuts and like he's focused and people maybe tune in. I don't know.
Yeah, but who would you? But like the problem I see with that is, and this is not a shot at Jericho, I just don't see like you don't have anyone to like work with him that's interesting enough to like draw eyeballs, because like Jericho himself, and there's a lot of people like that, but Jericho himself is not going to save you.
That's true.
And they just let all this talent go. I can't imagine they would just let all these people go, like all their depth go, just to bring in Jericho to try and survive. And I don't know. And if he goes, and the other problem is, like, with that is, so if he goes to WWE, they don't really watch other stuff. So that's going to be new and interesting for them because he's been gone for a while. But, like, who's watching TNA? Like, they've probably seen him in AEW, and he's going to feel tired real quick. I feel like. It is interesting though. I don't, because like when the 1-5 thing happened, everyone was disappointed. And I was like, well, Meltzer really just said this is when his contract ended. Like I guess I don't know, because I didn't think I was kind. And then when I thought about it more, I'm like, well, I don't know. Like I think they would do him at the Rumble this time of year more than they would like a random episode of TV in early January right after the holidays.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I don't know, and like Triple H doesn't like to. Triple H likes to do those big debuts like on pay-per-views and shit where it won't draw you ratings because he's a dipshit. I guess for the next night on Raw, but like I think the problem I have though is like with Triple H debuts now, it's like, well, you're not going to use them for like 3 months, so like I'm already not interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would be shocked at him opting. Well, I wouldn't be shocked. I would completely understand him not wanting to show up there where a guy that didn't like him in the first place is in charge, and he doesn't think he's going to get much.
I think he wants the Hall of Fame induction, though. I think that would be part of.
He does.
And I could see why though, because he did work there for a long time, and that's like the prime chunks of his career. So I could see being like, it'd be like it's like, oh, I put my 20 years in, I want my gold watch with him. So okay, I think that is it for this week. So just some of our predictions for this year. Like I said, I'm interested to see how this year goes personally, but that is it for this week, everyone. Thank you for joining us as always, and we will catch you next time.